I have 3 terminal windows.
Yeah, 2 gray and 1 black.
Yeah, is that coming through okay?
Yep.
All right, thank you, Joe. Okay, so what I'd like to demo is a way that we can upgrade our agents from one version of Open Horizon to the next without the node owner having to do anything. You know, previously we had to uninstall and reinstall to get to the latest version, but we no longer have to do that. So I have 2 agents registered. The middle screen here is actually an edge cluster agent. And the one on the bottom is an edge device. And you can see that they are both running the 2.30.0 1190 version of the agent. So me as an org admin, I would like to update these agents to the latest levels. So if I have some scripts that, that I could run. So what I have on my management hub, there is a command that I could list all the different manifests. And what I chose to do was use a manifest that's in the IBM directory. I mentioned that when a new version comes out, an administrator could run the EdgeNode files script to push those agent artifacts into our cloud sync service. And when you do that, that script will automatically generate a manifest for that particular version. So that you kind of get that for free. You can build your own manifest, or you could use the one provided by the EdgeNode files. So what this command does is can show me all the different manifests that have been published to my my cloud sync service, or MMS, or cloud sync service. So I have, this is the 1190 is the one I'm using. I have some older ones. These were, you know, test builds. Ignore the 660 because I packed that up myself. But I have it here, one for the 1194 build. So I want to upgrade my Open Horizon agents to 1194. So I created, so again, so the manifest says what gets upgraded. What I then did was create a node management policy. And the node management policy controls who gets upgraded using the familiar properties and constraints logic. You can see that I have specified that 119 in this tag. Is the highlighter working? Can you see that where I'm pointing?
Yeah, I see that.
Okay. So this says use the manifest from the 1194 build, and it's again in the IBM org. Just for fun, I have set this enabled flag to false. So once I publish it, nobody's going to operate on it until nobody is going to match until I go ahead and enable it. And I've set these 2 constraints. Agent work group clusters equals true, or agent work group device equals true. And I've set these properties on my edge nodes. Now, one of the things that I mentioned, that I think it's a really nice feature that we added a way to test the node management policy to see if the constraint logic matches correctly. So I'll execute that real quick. And what I'm doing is I can issue this NMP add command, but I could say -- dry run and -- applies to. That tells me, okay, don't publish anything. Tell me who's going to match this node management policy. And you can see that I only got back one node. So that tells me something's wrong because I wanted to match both my nodes, my edge cluster node and my edge device node. So something is wrong. It doesn't tell me what's wrong. It just tells me my only one of my two nodes matches. So if I go to my edge node, edge cluster node, you can see I have my management property. I have agent work group cluster equals true. If I look at my NMP, I intentionally said agent work group clusters equals true. So again, it doesn't tell me why it didn't match, but I can tell that this is not matching. And I had I introduced a typo here. So if I edit this file, change this from cluster to match what is in my my edge device under the management properties, now I should get a match. Now, obviously, I could also change the property in the edge cluster agent itself to match, but I chose to fix the issue in the node management policy. So now if I issue that same dry run command, now I could see that both of my edge nodes will match that node management policy and therefore should get upgraded. So the next thing I need to do is, but it's not published yet. So the next thing I need to do is publish. And this is the part I haven't tested yet, so I'm hoping all this works. Okay, so now it says it's added, but if you remember, I haven't enabled it yet. So nothing's going to happen until I enable it. So now it is enabled. So the next thing I can do, so now at this point, my agent, the NMP is published and available. Now I'm waiting for my agents to act on that. So again, I haven't touched, well, I haven't touched the agent itself. I've done all this through somebody that has org admin privileges. It can be from another device or from another, just the CLI. I could do all this. So let me see. Okay, so what I've executed now is just a script to watch the status of that node management policy. And you can see that one of the cluster node is in waiting state. And when the edge device, when he contacts the management hub next, he'll also be get put into a waiting state. So that's going to happen shortly, I think. So I'll just keep watching this to see what takes place. Okay, so at least my cluster, so it's actually downloading the artifacts. This runs every 10 seconds or something like that to check on the status of that node management policy. But please feel free to ask any questions if as we go along. Okay, so now my other device, which is Edge Demo 3, he's now in waiting state. Let's wait a couple of this. So what happens is on the Edge device, there's a cron job that runs every 5 minutes. And it looks like we just missed it. So we'll have to wait until about 4 more minutes before it'll actually complete, but before it acts on that. I could also check the status on the device itself, but I could also do it again from my, each device I could check the status, or I could look at kind of the group by checking the status of the node management policy itself. So the states were, it was an awaiting state, then it went to download started, then it went to downloaded once it got all the artifacts installed on the local machine. So now they're in my 2 lower edge nodes. And initiated means the upgrade process has started. So it is in the process of upgrading my node. And now, in fact, it just went to successful.
Hey, Doug, a quick question. So
Yeah.
the that management section is new, right, for this update to happen, and then the properties are basically really whatever the admin wants to set as like properties you would use for management purpose, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah, we've introduced a new section for management specific properties. So those won't be used, for matching deployment properties. Those will only be used for this new concept of a node management policy. Right.
And it's just for the purpose is to be able to do this auto update of the agent, right?
So that's a good point. And I think Dave mentioned that a couple of weeks ago. What we've done, we don't call it an auto upgrade policy. We call it a node management policy. And the reason for that is we wanted to have the flexibility in the future to do other node management things. So the first feature to take advantage of this is the auto upgrade. So that's the only thing you can do right now. But in the future, there may be cases where other node management activities could be driven by this. I think Dave asked you, Ron, something about a security policy, maybe something, again, so not delivering workloads, but managing the node somehow. But the first, again, the first feature to take advantage of this is the auto upgrade.
Yeah. Can't you also use this to upgrade the certificate?
Yes. I get, okay, that's a fair point. Yes, so the auto upgrade can be used to upgrade the software, the certificate, or the config. So I guess I grouped all those together under auto upgrade, but you're right. Those are kind of 3. You could do those all together, or you could do them all independently. But it's still kind of part of auto upgrade, but 3 different things that you can do with an auto upgrade. Right. So this says my cluster agent is successful. So remember, it started out at the 1190 version, and I was trying to go to the 1194 version. So now if I issue the same version command, I'm hoping that this says it's at, so it says that the CLI and the agent are at the 1194 version. And it looks like my my other device also has just been successful, as shown up here. He just went to successful just a minute ago. So for now, if I do the same thing down here, he too has been upgraded to 1194. I meant to show this earlier, and I apologize. What I meant to show was that the workloads themselves were not restarted during this process. So those will continue to run. And you can see that these pods were created 17 hours ago and haven't been restarted. It's only the agent that restarted 4 minutes ago once it got upgraded. So once we download the new artifacts, we do need to restart the agent in order to pick up the new agent version. So the agent itself will get restarted, but the workloads themselves should not be restarted during this process. Any
So,
other? Yes,
yeah,
go
quick question about that. If something happened in the middle of the upgrade process where independently one of the managed workloads, let's say, stopped running for some reason,
Mhm.
when the agent gets restarted at the newer version, will it say, hey, I'm expecting 2 workloads to be running and one of them isn't? Let me restart it?
Yes, that's exactly what should happen. It should still be aware of all the agreements and the services and the containers that it is managing. And if it detects that one of them has died, then yes, it should be able to take its recovery mechanism, take its recovery steps to try to get it restarted.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good question. Likewise, there actually is a rollback feature in the auto upgrade. If there's, the way we introduced this, we put out a build that was invalid, and it says, okay, I'm trying to install this. Oops, this is garbage. It'll roll back to the previous version, and you would get a separate message if it rolled back. Obviously, it wouldn't be successful. It'd be rollback. I can't remember the exact terminology, but there is some checking and some rollback capabilities built into the feature if it encounters any problems during the process.
So during the process of agent auto update, you showed us the manifest that you used and then the command that you used to say, okay, auto upgrade this from 1190 to 1194. Is it possible to also use that same technique to update to an older version?
Good question. So yes, let me think it's in here. Go back here. So if I'll stop this watch. There is a tag that says allow downgrade.
Ah, okay.
And so if I'm at I could, since I'm running at the 1194 version, I could actually create a new node management policy to go back to the 1190 version if I wanted to. But I would have to set this to true in order to go backwards.
Nice. Okay, thank you.
There is a downgrade flag to say whether that's enabled or whether that's allowed or not. Any other questions? Again, this works on all device or agent types, so edge clusters, edge devices, anax and container. You can see in this particular example, I had a mix of a cluster and an edge device, and then same node management policy operated on both of them, and it did upgraded them to the 1194 version.
I have a quick question on the
Yes.
cluster case. I don't know if it's really useful, but is there a reason to maybe separate the agent cluster by namespace with respect to upgrades?
Mm,
In case you want, I don't know, like if you wanted to run some workloads that are specific to a certain version, or you don't want to upgrade them, is there a way to specify namespace? I don't know if it's really practical.
Actually, there is a new feature being looked at to allow multiple versions of the agent to run in different namespaces. So that might and deploy workloads into different namespaces. I'm not sure whether that would solve the use case kind of that you're describing, though.
Right. So then when you do the upgrade, then you would specify which ones you would want to upgrade?
Again, you would have to match the properties and constraints would have to match who you want to upgrade. So in your, the way I'm thinking of your use case, you would only want to upgrade, say, in namespace Charisse, well, you would set your management properties of that agent to match your node management policy so that you can do the upgrade, but only that particular agent in that namespace would be the one that you would want to match.
Okay, okay, that makes sense. Thanks.
But right now, we can only have one version of the agent, but the new feature being investigated is to have multiple versions in different namespaces.